Right, somebody suggested to me the other day I ought to do an update of my chickens video, and I thought, well, that's probably quite a good idea because I'm now sort of 5-6 months into the entire experiment, so I've got some idea now of what to expect. So since my last video, one of my chickens escaped. And what happened was, as I was pulling the cage here to remove it from the coop so I could get into the coop and change the food, as I do, one of these cable ties snapped, which allowed, as I pulled the cage, my chickens I got pecked the other day, one of them literally attacked me. It pulled, look, it absolutely, so it pulled it open, which allowed one of the chickens to squeeze through, and I watched her waddle off down the garden, down the path, down the drive and up the road, never to be seen again. So do just be careful of that. Right, so anyhow, what have I learnt? This was where the coop was. Now, I only moved this the other day, and they have absolutely, and this is there's, I forget what they call it, MOT, aggregate, it's rubble under here, and they have absolutely gone down to below my shed base. So where the coop was, they have absolutely, completely stripped that piece of land bare. So I'm going to have to get a rake on that, put some grass seed on it, and I'm going to allow that to grow. They are, frankly, filthy creatures. The amount of chicken manure that I have to clear out, it has to be done at least every other day, and the coop needs a thorough clean once a month. To be fair, it's extremely good for the garden. Sorry, just bear with me. It is extremely good for the garden, and I have scattered it more than once, so it completely breaks down the hemp stuff I'm using, the bedding, obios I think they call it, obios, and that breaks down completely. Now, water, these waterers are rubbish, they really are, they're rubbish. So come the summer, I'm having to fill that up every day. Come the summer, I'm going to come up with a much better watering system. They've only been down here Thursday. I probably moved them Sunday or Monday, and as you can see, look, the grass is almost gone. There's plenty of grit in my soil, so we're not having a problem there. At the moment, with 2 chickens, I'm getting about 1 egg per, or 1.5 eggs per day. So I'm getting sort of, 3 eggs every couple of days, 1.5 eggs a day. It has slowed down, and I have lost a chicken. Food. Well, the feeder that I'm using, I'm perfectly happy with. 3 chickens were going through that feeder. So that's 3 chickens were going through that feeder once a week. 2 chickens, 10 days. So I have to top that feeder up every 10 days. But what I do is I check them every day anyway, and if it starts to get empty, I just deal with it. And what I do is I throw some corn in this side of the cage, and there's a hole here, and there is another way that I can then sort of, and it's a bit of a faff, I will be honest, it is a bit of a faff, but it allows me, if you can see this, okay, so I can now, essentially, they're now confined into this one cage. So I can now move these cages out of the way. The chickens are confined into that one section of the cage, so they can't escape. So I can do what I need to do in the coop. And then when I finish doing what I need to do, I simply just pull this and it opens up the door, and then they can get back through. So it's no big deal. It takes me 10 minutes to do it once a week. It's just no massive issue. So, as I say, yeah, they are disgusting creatures, and we should remember that at the end of the day, they are still almost dinosaurs. Yeah, they do peck. They will eat out of my hand, but if I put my hand in, they'll peck at me. It doesn't hurt, but again, don't bite the hand that feeds you. It just goes to show you how thick they are. But I've enjoyed every minute of it. This isn't massively expensive. I'm on my second sack of feed, and it's about £20 a sack. I'm still on my first bag of the bedding. Admittedly, it's probably 2/3 of the way down, but it's so compact, and because there isn't a lot of, you know, it's not a massive coop. It's plenty big enough for sort of 3 chickens. For 2, it's absolute luxury. They'll come to me when I call them. Hello, girls. Hello, girls. There we go. And they're quite used to the cats. The cats are quite used to them. I've had no problems with disease or parasites, but once again, that's just down to coop cleanliness and maintenance. I haven't really had to do anything further with the coop, to be honest. It's a bit of a pain to move on my own, but it's not impossible. So, yeah, sort of 5-6 months on. I wish I'd done it a long time ago, but just be aware of what they are going to do to your lawn. That's the only sort of caveat I would say. Now, it's great because I don't have to cut the grass, but as you can see, they do make a mess. Fortunately, I haven't had any problem with predators such as foxes, because, well, we're surrounded by a fence. There's concrete barge boards. They probably don't even know that they're here. They're not exactly visible from the main road, so doesn't really faze me particularly. So yeah, in conclusion, am I enjoying it? Yes. Am I glad I did it? Yes, absolutely. Are they clean creatures? Good God, no, anything but. But at least all of the waste can be either composted, or it's going to be great for my garden. So at least there is that. I'm getting a regular supply, not as many now because it's winter. Pretty much halfway through, well, just more than halfway through, I suppose. So in the summer, and when I get my new chicken in March, I'll be having plenty of eggs, and I'll end up with a glut. At the moment, I'm sort of on a bit of a ration, but it's a cheap hobby once you've got the initial outlay. And the cages were what, £60-70 a piece. Coop, I paid £100 for it, second hand, and I've had to repair it. That's another story. I'm not complaining about that. It's in solid nick. It just needed a bit of work, so I'm not going to complain. So a couple of £100 to start up, and you think, oh God, I'll never spend a couple of £100 on eggs, and perhaps you won't. But, and I can assure you now, there is nothing better than coming out in here in an afternoon and finding fresh eggs. and then cooking those fresh eggs, whether you fry them, boil them, scramble them, poach them, or use them in something, you have a ready supply of fresh eggs, and that is well worth everything. So thanks for watching. Sorry, this is just my drive. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.